You're listening to Subsound Radio. We bring you streaming and live broadcasting from the capital. This is the Ep7 podcast. Hello. This is the latest episode of the Ep7 podcast. Joining me in studio is the lovely... What's your name again?
Maria.
And of course my name is Zenda. We're back. We're sitting on the park bench in front of the chapel that is home to Goya's mausoleum. So, not your typical place to spend a Thursday afternoon, no?
Not really, but it's very nice nonetheless.
It is. Okay, so and what's on the agenda for today's show?
Okay, we've got a few things to talk about. We've got a blind museum in Madrid.
Okay, yeah.
We visited.
Yeah, we did.
And we also have to talk about a stunning film that we've watched as well.
Okay.
Another bits and pieces. That we'll leave for the end.
Okay, sounds good. Little notes that we should address probably before we just jump right into it. We're going to be making a new movie, documentary, short film, covering immigrants learning Spanish here in Spain, and more details and all that jazz, YouTube links as they appear. But really, not much else to say, is there? So we'll end this part, and we'll just go to the good stuff, right?
Okay.
All right. Okay. Cool. So we went to the Blind Museum, which is to the north of the city. Your first impressions?
It was interesting. It was a fun way to spend a couple of hours looking around. Actually, it's not well known at all, and it was actually not that easy to find.
No, it wasn't. It's hidden away. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to be there. Basically, they have recreations of worldwide locations, buildings like the Taj Mahal, Jerusalem, Eiffel Tower. Anything else that I'm missing?
All sorts of Colosseum, Statue of Liberty, just landmarks of the world.
Exactly. And have you ever been to a museum and felt the need or the want to touch something and interact with it? But of course, in the museum you can't. But here you can. So was that an interesting aspect to the experience?
Yeah, that's something that is being incorporated slowly into museums. You know, the like replicas of pieces that people can touch. Whether people with visual disabilities or even children that, of course, like handling things a lot.
Of course. Yeah.
But this is like, well, I take it that's where some museums, let's say ordinary museums, art museums, archaeology museums, got that idea from. And it's actually a very good idea. It's just a museum where they sort of ask you, please touch, rather than do not touch. You're
actively encouraged, yes, to interact.
And, well, there was another section also with art by blind people. And there, well, I think it's just like going to any other art gallery, you know. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And, well, I think it should be judged in that way because people want to have their work, value for their artistic merits, regardless of their disability. So, And then there was a third part, which had devices that were invented to help blind people read. And that was actually quite interesting. There were machines that we'd never seen before, weren't there?
Yeah, there was, yeah. And yeah, generally, I mean, I think Jerusalem was made, or something was made completely from wood, and in real life it's not made from wood.
Yeah, Jerusalem.
So the material sometimes maybe mightn't match the real life counterpart, but again, you can get a sense of the dimensions and the physicality of a place, which I think is interesting. Yeah. There's also a painting there. Was it by Goya, or was it by? I think it was by Velázquez or Goya, one of the famous artists.
Oh yeah. It might have been Zurbarán, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
So a famous Spanish
famous Spanish painter, yeah.
And they kind of guided you through experiencing the painting as if you're blind. Yeah,
like different layers of.
Yeah, it was an adapted painting, and you had an audio description, and you could feel your way down from the top right hand corner of the painting to the bottom left hand corner, and all around, and search out the different figures and the materials and the implements that the characters in the painting were holding. And it was also a quite nice experience, because again, with arts, you can't really touch it, but again, you can get a sense of the space between the characters and a sense of the story as well.
We were kind of clumsy doing that,
weren't
we?
Yeah, well, the audio description was really good, because without it didn't kind of make sense, because you wouldn't know what you're touching. But it's a nice way to introduce art, or to have arts as a possibility for people who have reduced vision or who are blind as well. All in all, quite a nice place, I think.
I think it's worth a visit. I mean, it's free and it's open every day, so
you'll see everything in an hour.
People should go.
So, wrong choice of words. Okay, so
people should go.
People should go. Yes, people should go. Okay, so great experience all around. No.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so next on the list is a very charming movie. What's it called?
It's called Brooklyn.
It certainly is, starring an Irish girl called Saoirse Ronan, Brendan Gleeson's son, Donald Gleeson.
Great actor.
World's most boring man, according to one half of El Arpa. And some other people who you may or may not know from the world of acting from all over the world. And it's a story mostly about a girl who seeks her fortune in America, escaping small town Ireland, and then falls in love. And she has to choose between her new life in America and her old life back in Ireland. So what are the particular aspects of the story that you really felt engaged with?
Well, I think, of course, there was the story itself, like a story of people emigrating and having to find a new life elsewhere, which, of course, I think we can relate to, and also is a common theme for many people. But I think it was also a story of coming of age and just becoming like the person that you really are. So there was that sort of like dichotomy.
Okay, very good. So you can see the transformation of the character throughout the movie. Also, as well, I quite like the small details of the movie. I think they really captured a style of speaking and maybe the mentality of the people at the time. And it was interesting to see it as an expat myself. Kind of different challenges or perspectives that she created or dispensed with or maintained in the two different places. I think it was a very interesting meditation on where home is, for example. I left with the conclusion that she could have been happy in America and in Ireland, but just different circumstances and the subjectivity of her situation perhaps pulled her in one way rather than the other.
I'm thinking maybe we should have given a spoiler alert.
Well, no, I mean, we're not really saying anything. I think it's from the trailer you get the sense of this tension as well. Ending possibly a little bit rushed, and seemingly her decision to do what she does without giving away the ending perhaps seems a little bit arbitrary. Going against the odds of what happened before the movie, or before that scene in the movie, what the movie was building up to. But all in all, quite an enjoyable piece of cinema.
You loved it, really.
Yeah, I thought it was very funny. I thought it was great. Also, as well, it's kind of interesting to see a whole someone that's leaving and possibly never coming back to their country again. So a whole generation just taken away from the country. So I think there's nice nods to things that are happening culturally and historically at that time, and it is a real sense of place in it. And while it has that, it also has a universal appeal and a timeless appeal that obviously a lot of audiences have enjoyed right now. So if you get the chance, stream it, buy it, go to the cinema and see it. Definitely well worth a watch.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, sure, why not? So that was the latest installment of the El Arpa podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. You can find us on elarpa.net and on Twitter, elarpa1. That's our Twitter handle. And please stay tuned for further episodes of this amazing podcast and our continuing cultural and cinematic adventures that we continue to have around the city. So this is me, Enda, saying bye-bye.
And Maria saying bye.
You're listening to Subsound Radio. We bring you streaming and live broadcasting from the capital. This is the El Arpa Podcast.